It's the newspaper review right here on the morning edition. Right now, let's take a look at what the Punch newspaper is saying. Punching in real quick. Today, the front page of the Punch says, Osun account freeze. EFCC boss faces public fury as Tinubu reverses order. That story with the picture of the EFCC chairman slammed right beside it because there's been some growing calls of why the freezing of the Osun State account. We did have that conversation yesterday with our guest. Got a bit quite heated, but then we're able to pull it up to understand what was going on. But now the president has now directed the EFCC now to reverse the freezing of an Osun State government account that has triggered fresh political controversy with opposition parties questioning the president's explanation. Lawyers and civil society groups backing the intervention, the Osun State government dragging the commission to court, and the scores of Nigerians on social media demanding the resignation or removal of the EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede. That's one of the major stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And the writer, President distances self from EFCC's Osun account freeze, says, I'm deeply embarrassed. And people are asking, you were not aware? Did he just come from nowhere? But the president is saying that it's quite a shame, so let's do better. Also, another writer, NBA, lawyers, others back Tinubu for condemning account freeze ahead of August 15 poll. Apologies to Tinubu, Oyetola over frozen account allegations, APC tells Adeleke. If that story you're running with, let us know your thoughts. Also, just beside the nameplate of the Punch, fake agency probe, ICPC report clears presidency, indicts embattled DG. Adeyemi, Sean's rep panel insist on open hearing. Nwombodo counters Bonfere over missing Atlanta 96 gold land. Also on the Punch. PSC releases 50,000 new constables to police for training. Health crisis. Lagos short of 40,000 doctors, says the governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Those are the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And the main picture on the Punch, Deputy Governor of Imo State, Dr. Chinyere, and Executive Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, and others, of course, at the tape cutting ceremony of their bank's new branch in Owerri. There's a new branch of a bank in Owerri. You want to find out what the bank is? Grab a copy of the Punch newspaper. But that's the Punch.
All right, let's move over to the Guardian newspaper this morning, laden with a lot of stories. It leads with the one that says methane emissions in Nigeria, how poor regulation shields oil firms and harms host communities is the big story on the Guardian this morning. And when you take a look at the front page, there are pictures of affected parts of Uzere, which happens to be a community in Delta State, an inland rainforest town in Delta State's Isoko South Area Council, where we understand that on the 27th of June, they fled their homes, convinced they were under attack. Well, they were not. What happened exactly? An oil well operated by Heritage Energy had failed, and more than a month later, well 14 was still spewing crude, gas, and water into the community. And those are some of the pictures that you're seeing. In fact, a 56-year-old Daniel Oderewu had built his life around 2 fish ponds dug beside a natural pond his grandfather once used. That's how he's been surviving. But courtesy of this incident, that's just come to an end, and several other people whose livelihoods depend on the water life in that area. All of that is now at a pause. It's really a devastating situation for residents of that community. So you want to take a deep dive with the Guardian into the details of that story in the inside pages 4 and 5. And we also have Senate fumes over 1.6 trillion naira fuel subsidy bill in 2021 may summon AGF. What's that about? Grab a copy of the Guardian. Security operatives rescue 5 Ogun police students and Oyo teenager. We also have ICPC uncovers 2 more fake agencies in PFIPC investigation. Did you hear that? ICPC uncovers 2 more fake agencies in PFIPC investigation. Of course, the president had given them the mandate to come up with some explanation, investigate that particular agency, and in less than 30 days come up with some sort of explanation as to what transpired. Well, the ICPC has now recommended the prosecution of the controversial DG Adeyemi after investigations established that neither he nor the organization had any legal backing from the federal government. ICPC chairman Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu disclosed this after presenting an interim report of the investigation to President Tinubu at the presidential villa yesterday. Says procedural lapses in key MDAs enabled fake scheme. FROSC says Tinubu, Wike, and SGF listed as board members in documents submitted to it. So perhaps that explains why he got the kind of number plates that he did for his vehicles. State House denies writing AGF to create budget code. And in case you're asking, what are the names of the other 2 agencies that have now been discovered? Well, according to the chairman of the ICPC, the Foreign Capital and Wealth Investment Promotion Agency, FCWIPA, and the Foreign Investment Promotion Agency / Public-Private Partnership, FIPA, PPP, are also fake agencies, it appears, were floated by the same individual, Adeyemi. All right, well, let's take a pause on that story and take a look at some of the other headlines. Several JAS commanders feared killed as ISWAP Boko Haram faction clash in Borno. Relief in Osun as opposition lawyers. Others question EFCC's independence. Retired DSS officer arraigned for alleged IPOB membership and terrorism support. Manufacturers seek 20% interest rate as funding crisis lingers. Plus, at the bottom strip, we'll have the headline that says, sickle cell epidemic tackling fake lab results headlong. Well, that's The Guardian for you this morning.
From The Guardian newspaper, we'll take it over to the New Telegraph. Leading with a story this morning on the front page of the New Telegraph, it says, Abiodun declares no safe haven for kidnappers. That's coming from the Osun State Government, which recorded a major breakthrough in its fight against kidnapping with successful rescue of the 7 students now. But then we also have on the front page, embarrassed, Tinubu directs EFCC to vacate order freezing Osun's account. That's another major story on the front page of the New Telegraph. PFIPC probe, ICPC submits interim report, recommends Adeyemi's prosecution. The government is excusing themselves and now indicting the alleged DG who insists to have a public hearing. NCAA demands restoration of 65% share of tickets cargo. NCCAA demands restoration of 65% share of tickets cargo changes. That's on the front page of the New Telegraph. And also still on the front page, we have party politics, aggrieved APC, G15 rebrands as Otoge Progressives in Kwara. And we also have other riders that you'd like to go with. 2026 Electoral Act designed, perfected before it was taken to NAS. Galadima alleges. Ex-DSS officers arraigned over IPOB membership, terrorism sponsorship. Pan-African columnists urge South Africa to address xenophobic issues, foster unity. Fuel subsidy gulped 1.16 trillion naira in 2021, says Ramath. A Senate panel threatens to compel Accountant General to appear. Those are the stories on the front page. And the new tax rules threaten Nigeria's $92 billion crypto market. That story is also there. There's a bit of development as regards to crypto dealings and all. But any of these stories interest you this morning, let us know your thoughts.